Good afternoon. Welcome to our second webinar of our solution, Governance.Business Start&Go. So our new offering on top of our product, Governance.Business. So today in this second webinar of our series, we will be focusing on the project, portfolio, and resource management on this new offering. So talking about the offer itself, so what is Governance.Business Start&Go? So Governance.Business Start&Go is a new cloud solution that we are offering, where we are offering a full support from an end-to-end perspective on how to govern and manage your organization. So we are offering processes to support you on strategic planning and management, sales management, project and service portfolio management, and service management. And of course, use all the features that are available within Governance.Business itself. So if you would like to see more information about this new offering, Governance.Business Start&Go, or even about our product, Governance.Business, and eventually try it out online, and you can also initiate a trial of this new offer, you can go to http://governance.business, and you can basically see all the information around the product, also access case studies, data sheets, all the information that is available on the product, and also try online an online demo with different profiles, with different roles, so you can try out the different functionalities that we are offering on our solution. So yesterday, we've basically covered the first webinar where we've discussed everything related to strategy and sales. So essentially, how do I do strategic planning in the solution and monitor the execution of that strategy, basically consisting of a plan at the organization level, or then at a particular business objective that you define on your organization, or business objectives that you have on your organization, and then how basically the execution takes place in all the initiatives coming up, all the projects under execution, all the projects under execution, all the assets that you are maintaining. So having all of that, okay, being monitored against that strategic plan, or against that objective, understanding exactly what you are doing to accomplish that goal, that objective, or then to accomplish the plan that you have defined at your organization level. So either an organization itself, or it can be a plan for each of the organizations, each of the departments that you have inside your company. So essentially, we've covered that yesterday in that webinar. Okay, we'll make it available as well in our website, Governance.Business. Okay, and we've also discussed and shown how you can manage your sales pipeline, focusing on doing account planning, focusing on doing lead management and opportunity management, and the link from there to the execution itself in terms of projects, programs, contracts, and so on. So linking over with the other two webinars that we will be running today and tomorrow. So today, focusing mostly on the portfolio management features and how to plan the portfolio and execute that portfolio, okay? And tomorrow, in terms of service management, focusing more on contract management, service management, and all the operational things around this. So in today's webinar, we will be focusing and showing you all the things around idea management. How do I manage my initiatives, which are essentially something that represent a business case that needs to be analyzed and needs to be understood on the overall portfolio, and eventually also prioritized on that portfolio before we approve it or not, in order to become a project or a program, okay, which is under execution, and then also the execution of those projects, those programs, and also the strategic assets perspective on how do I maintain those strategic assets, what kind of information, what kind of things can I see, and so on. Okay. Also then focusing on resource management, task management, and on expenses and invoices. Okay. So talking a little bit about the product itself, the Governance.Business platform, which is basically the platform that supports our offering. So Governance.Business has different flavors. So what we are doing is on the Governance.Business Start&Go, we are offering a flavor which is completely configured with all the processes that we are showing throughout these webinars, okay, and that allows the organization to easily adopt the solution, okay, and use those standard processes in order to generate the most benefits for your organization, which allows you to do a lot of things to manage the entire company within the solution, okay, and has different domains, okay, of those processes. Aside from that offering, we also have the SaaS offering and the on-premises offering, which also bring all the processes that we have on the cloud, but then it allows you also to extend those processes further, to design and to configure your own workflows, your own processes, to build your own integrations. So basically to do a wide range of configuration on top of the solution, either on SaaS, either on premises. So essentially what you see on the cloud, on the Start&Go offering, it's essentially a closed solution with those processes in place. And in the future, we will enhance those processes. So we'll bring more versions with new processes coming up, either on the agile management part, which are coming up this year, or even on the quality management perspective, or basically in very many other things that we are continuously improving and continuously configuring also new processes in order to boost that offering and offer you a wider range of processes and ways of working and managing your organization from that basic Start&Go offering up to the SaaS and to the on-premises one, making sure that you take full that you can use fully our solution, our Governance.Business platform with all its functionality. So we're talking a little bit about the platform and the functionalities that offer you as an organization. So on one side, we have the reports and dashboards, which allow you to analyze all the information that you have currently in the solution. So all the processes, all the financials, resources, tasks, and so on. So everything that you have in the solution can be analyzed and monitored through our dynamic dashboards, through different graphical views, which you can then bring up from the upper levels, from the top level up to the last details, okay, of the information. So we've seen that yesterday, where we've basically focused on a strategic view and then went up to all the details, okay, of an initiative, an opportunity, a project, and so on. So we can have that through the dashboards part, okay, and also the reports themselves, which allow you to execute reports and get information in PDF, PowerPoint, Word, Excel. So many different formats in order for you to distribute then that report, okay, throughout different stakeholders by email or other means. Okay, then the resource management bit, which we are going to also show a little bit today, okay, around resource capacity planning. So the possibility for you to analyze the capacity of your resources, the way that they are being planned across different things, okay, the different work items inside the organization, and then additionally understand really how they are being utilized, okay, the real utilization coming from all the timesheets that we also manage inside Governance.Business, which allows a resource, okay, to report their actual time, actual work time in each of the work items, and then following an approval process to make sure that we account those actual hours, okay, in the different work items, such as projects, programs, initiatives, opportunities, assets. So in many places in the different process areas that we offer, okay. Then we have the project management perspective, okay, the functionality, which we are going to show also a lot today, consisting on resource plans, financial plans in terms of costs and benefits, also the activity plan, okay, on the project with all the tasks, hierarchies, and so on, predecessors to this project or other projects, okay, or other things inside the solution. Also doing risk management, issue management, scope change management, providing status reports, okay, for the project. So having the whole thing from the project perspective, making sure that you can plan the project and execute it successfully in our solution, getting all the information, all the indicators, okay, and having that highly visible for all the persons that want to consult that information. Okay, then the other part, the program management, which allows you to define strategic programs that aggregate other programs or projects inside the solution, which then gives you a view of a planning perspective on the program level, where I define a budget or a cost plan or a benefit plan, okay, and then I want to understand the execution of all the things beneath that program, so all the projects, all the other sub-programs, how they are contributing and consuming, okay, those costs and contributing to those benefits that we have planned at that level, making sure that we have a strategic view, a high-level view, but also all into the details, making sure that we manage that properly, okay? Then the task management perspective, which allows you to define any list of tasks inside the solution, not really being aggregated with the projects or programs or any other place that we use a work plan, okay, but basically a list of tasks, okay, that you are going to then collaborate amongst the different persons, okay, in the organization, okay, allowing you to track all of those tasks, seeing if they are finished or not, seeing who are the persons involved in them, okay, making sure that we exchange messages, that we exchange files in the context of those tasks. So making sure that we have a normal task solution or task-based solution without having the hassle of having to have a structured approach with a work plan and so on. No, basically having simple list of tasks like we have in Outlook and many other places, okay, spread out to the different tools that we use. Okay, then the financial management, which allows you to manage financials, so costs and benefits across your organization. So on the different perspectives, so either on the organization level, on the portfolio level, on the strategy level, so on your business goals, or on programs, projects. So in many places across the different processes that we provide, okay, you use the financial management perspective by defining all your cost plans and benefit plans and seeing all of those figures consolidated in several views. Okay, and we have two other pieces that are very important in this scenario, which is the knowledge base that we offer with all the knowledge of the organization that you can contain here inside the solution, okay, categorized with different categories, making sure that you highlight the most important articles towards the organization, making sure as well that you define who can see the articles and who can basically consume those articles. And then afterwards, they can also say if they like the article or not, if it was relevant or not for them. So we can make sure that we track which articles are really more welcome from the users, from the resources perspective, and the ones that really they don't access a lot and they don't see a lot of value in them. Okay, so this knowledge base is typically used in different other tools on the service management part, but here we use it across the board in all the processes that we have. So for example, all the lessons learned that we have on the project part, we can store them in the knowledge base, okay, and we should store them in the knowledge base, okay, or any other articles that we have, or then of course the part of the service management, everything related more to help desk, ticketing and so on, okay, that we store there in that knowledge base to make sure that it's highly accessible, okay, from when we open a ticket or an incident and so on, we can access that knowledge, okay. Then the other part is the document management, which allows you to have a document management solution for your organization, where you have documents, personal documents, and you can share them, those documents with other persons, okay, or then folders with other persons, okay, essentially managing all the permissions of who can see what, okay, who can basically update what, as well as the ability to search inside documents and versioning those documents. So that document management solution is used across the organization, or then it's also used in each of the processes that we provide inside the solution, either on projects, on programs, in many other places, okay, in the solution. We use basically that document management to make sure that we track all documents, that we can define the different hierarchies and so on how we store the documents and who can access them and so on. Okay, so This is basically the platform itself in very high level format with the most important functionalities that we have in it. Okay, but then on top of this platform, like I said in the beginning, what we've done was to define a full working solution in terms of processes, what we consider best practices processes, to take advantage of all the functionalities that we offer in the solution. Okay, and that's what we also basically created the offering of a start and go around those processes. Okay, so then in terms of the processes that we provide, okay, the main processes that we provide on this start and go offering are divided in four towers. Okay, so that's why the 3 webinars that we are running, so they are covering those 3 domains, or those 4 domains of processes. So on one side, we have the strategy, which basically consists on everything related to a business plan and a business goal, okay, which we have shown yesterday. Then we have the sales management part to manage all the sales, customers, partners, contacts, leads, opportunities. And we've also covered that in yesterday's webinar. Okay, then we have the portfolio management things, more focused on the portfolio, managing portfolios, understanding the portfolios that you have that aggregate different things inside your organization. Then the part of ideas, initiatives, the execution in terms of programs and projects, and also your strategic assets that are all contained inside your portfolio, making sure that on your portfolio perspective, you can understand what kind of things are you currently studying, which can then pass to an execution like a program or a project. Okay, which kind of things are right now in execution, okay, and the status of that execution in terms of programs and projects, and then your strategic assets that you are maintaining. Mostly those assets should be linked, should represent an asset also on the service management part, which we will have then service levels on top of them, the different incidents, the different problems, service requests, and so on, okay, in order to maintain and enhance that asset further, okay, but understanding all that strategic part, mostly around the portfolio and how we can manage all of that and manage the different processes and stakeholders and persons collaborating in each of those processes. Then the service management part, mainly focusing on managing contracts, managing services, managing assets and service offers. And then around all of these things, okay, you have then the operational processes of defining service level agreements, and then managing incidents, problems, service requests for change, and also the association, of course, with the service levels that you have defined and making sure that you track all of those SLAs, okay, and then seeing that aggregation, that control and monitoring at the level of the different assets or service offers or services or contracts, making sure that you manage the whole thing, understanding the resources that you are consuming and how you are planning, understanding financials, understanding the quality KPIs of delivery based on your operational things that you are managing. So linking all of that together and giving you a full perspective, not only focusing on these processes of incident, problem, and so on, but also on the big picture, okay? Like I said, today we'll be focusing mostly on the portfolio management, okay? In this case, we will adopt the strategy, again, from yesterday, which we are going to take first a top-level approach in terms of entering as a portfolio manager and then seeing the portfolio, drilling down into the different things, okay? And then if we have time, we will be creating some new things in order for you to understand and see how easy it is to create an idea and collaborate on that idea, or an initiative and collaborate on that initiative, okay? Additionally to that, we will also be showing the resource management part, okay? So how can I analyze the resources? We'll be doing that as well, again, with the portfolio manager. Around the portfolio, you'll have already an idea how we do that, or then controlling all the tasks that we have in place, okay? Or then afterwards, the expense management and so on that we will see mostly on the project level, okay? So it's time really for the demonstration. So we will do a live demonstration of the solution in order for you to understand the different processes that we have and the different things that we offer. Okay, so going into the solution itself, we have several domain areas for the start and go offering, okay, which we are covering on the different webinars. In this case, we have the strategy and governance that we focused yesterday, the sales management, which we have focused yesterday, and then today and tomorrow we'll be focusing on the portfolio management and on the service management. So the solution itself is completely web. So you only need a browser to access the solution. Okay, you can use it from your mobile phone, you can use it from your tablet, you can use it from your computer. As long as you have a browser, you can access it. So in this case, if you access it from a mobile phone or from a tablet, basically the solution will know that it's being rendered in a mobile device, okay, and it will present the functionality and it will present a different usability, making sure that it adopts and offers a good usability for the user on that precise device. Okay, so let's enter then on the portfolio management part. So we have different users, okay, on the solution, okay, that we can use in order to demo it. Okay, just another remark. This demo over here is something that you can also access in our website. So the live demo that we have there is exactly the same demo that we are using over here. So essentially it has the same profiles, it has the same information. So if you want to try it out, you can also go there and try it out with exactly the same roles that we have here. Okay, like I said, so the way that we are going to show things today, we are first focusing on seeing the information, controlling what we call the portfolio perspective and the different portfolios that we have, what kind of visibility we have in this view. Okay, then we will jump into a project manager perspective. Okay, understanding from a project manager how we manage our projects, what kind of information we are tracking, and so on. Okay, and eventually go then to program manager and so on. So inside the portfolio manager, we will show also the part of the different resource management beats and so on, and how we control that. Okay, so entering in our solution with this user. So the first thing that we will see is basically a dashboard, okay, which presents valuable information for this whole. Okay, the dashboards themselves, it's something that the user itself can configure his own dashboards and the way that he wants to consume the information and visualize the information. So that's why that on our menu, we have the part of published pages, or we can create our also personal pages where we are going to create it from a template, okay, of info that is already configured in a certain way, and then you can basically configure, add more portraits, add more views. So basically create your own view of consuming information, or you can create an empty page and start that from scratch. Okay, so these ones are already published by the administrator to make sure that this type of whole has always this kind of views, okay, available for him. So in the end, he can consume the information in this precise way. Okay, so in this case, we are showing here information for all the portfolios that we have currently in the solution, configured in the solution. We are showing a perspective of cost, plan cost versus plan benefit, to give a perception of if the investment that I'm planning to do is paying off. So if it's going to generate more benefits than what I need to invest. Okay, so in this case, we see that in the end of the year, we are planning to have 61 million euros of benefits. Okay, and a total plan cost, total investment of 39.5 million. So in the end, there's a lot of benefits being generated by executing all the portfolios like we have them right now. If we want to show that the same kind of view, but then from a different perspective, which is understanding where the stage of each of these costs and benefits that we are presenting here, stage in the sense of thinking, is this right now in the phases of we are studying that in terms of an initiative, we are already under execution, we are maintaining that. So what kind of stage are we talking about which is generating these benefits or need this type of investments? Then we can see it here as well, split per. These are the things that we are planning that possibly we can do, okay? And then we have currently under study initiatives that will generate possibly 6 million in benefits and need an investment of 3.5. We are currently executing programs, okay, that will give us a benefit of 30 million, projects with a benefit of 10 million. So the different stages, and if I want to understand what kind of information is behind this, okay, I just drill down and access the full information, understanding all the projects, everything that is contributing for that across different periods and so on. Okay, so you can easily access the information, aggregate it at a certain level, and then go into the full details. Okay. Then also understanding the risk versus strategic value analysis for everything that is included in all the portfolios. So all the projects that are included, okay? So the different things, if I want to also jump into a project, I just click on it and I jump in order to see all the information, or the different opportunities, initiatives, assets, programs. So seeing all of that in a risk versus strategic value, which is based on the scoring model that we have associated to each of the initiatives, projects, programs, assets, okay, that are included in the different portfolios. But then also, like I said, one of the other things is to understand resources. So I have a lot of things that I intend to execute across the different portfolios, okay, in terms of all the initiatives, all the projects that are under execution. So I need to understand if I have enough the kind of capacity that I'm consuming right now or that I need in order to execute. Okay, so this kind of graphic will show us that in terms of all the capacity that I have on the organization to execute. Okay, the allocated effort that we have done already in each of the projects, programs, assets, and so on, that are consuming already the resources, and eventually all the, let's say, the forecast effort, okay, that is coming from the initiatives that are defined, okay? So we can analyze all of this information from a graphical view and see, okay, it seems good. So it seems that we have no problems, right? That we have enough capacity. But then the best way is also to understand it from a perspective of the details, okay? So if I want to understand the details themselves, okay, I want to go and drill down into a certain month, okay, and then I see here a different picture, which is I have problems with certain roles already in that month. I have problems with certain resources. I have resources that are over-allocated, okay, and I have resources that are under-allocated. So we see here that the picture, okay, from a high-level perspective is, it seems good, but then from going into the details, we see that we can have problems with different resources and so on. So we want to understand how those resources are being planned and used, okay? And then we can have this view basically giving us an indication of capacity and then the bar on the allocation for this month. But then we can also split that allocation and understand if they are working on operations, for example, so operational things, if they are working on sales, for example, okay, because we also track sales here, or if they are working in strategic things, okay? So we understand that the resources are mostly working, okay, or some of them are mostly working on strategic things, okay, but most of them are also working on maintenance things, so operational things in maintaining assets, services, and so on, okay? So we can understand all of that and drill down into the details if we want to, okay? Or then have that information as well in terms of the plan that we had for each of the resources and the actual usage of the resource. okay, to make sure that we can understand, okay, the amount of time that was really dedicated by each of the resources, okay, on the different things that they are working, okay, combining then that picture with I've planned X hours for that resource, and possibly that resource either delivered less or delivered more than those hours. So my planning is not really done in the best way possible. Okay, so if you want to understand just for a single user, a single resource, okay, the information, you can easily just say, no, I want to understand here for Maria Duncan, okay, what kind of things she's working on for this month. I just click on it, and in this case, Maria Duncan is basically a manager. Okay, she's working in half almost in strategic things and maintenance. Okay, and the kind of things that she's working on is this type of project services. Okay, that she's working on. Okay, so I can then just go and drill down and understand, okay, she's working on this project, okay, located in July for an effort of 69, and then I can go into the project itself and understand all the details, all the tasks that she's involved, and so on. Okay, so it's very easy to just go and analyze the information from a very high level perspective, and then go into the different details, okay, understanding all the information that we are managing. But then here in this picture, we are showing, of course, the full portfolios. So we are showing all and full portfolios, and of course, the demand part of the portfolio. So all the ideas and initiatives inside the portfolio, also the execution bit, and also the maintenance part in terms of the strategic assets. But it will be nice to still have that aggregated picture. Okay, so include all the portfolios, but then seeing it per either only focusing on the demand, only focusing on the execution, only focusing on the strategic assets. So in this case, okay, we have also that those particular views, so we can focus our portfolios for all the portfolios, seeing everything from a demand perspective, so all the ideas that we are currently analyzing, seeing if they make sense or not to become possible initiatives to be studied further, okay, or the initiatives that we are managing, okay, which status they are at the moment, what kind of costs they will need, what kind of investment they will need, what kind of benefits they will deliver, okay, or then also a strategic value versus risk, okay, understanding, and also across the different regions. So understanding, for example, things that we are doing for the UK. So these are the things that we are planning to do in the UK, or then in Sweden, or in Spain, or the United States, or Portugal. So understanding all of that, those things, okay, all of those parts that we are basically planning, okay, to execute. But then let's go into each of them in particular, because we also want to show what kind of information we are tracking on the ideas, what kind of information we are tracking on the initiatives, so you have a full picture of all of this. Okay, so in this case, let's go and enter, let's drill down here on all the initiatives, all the ideas that are in analysis phase. Okay, so here we have a full list of all the ideas. Okay, so let's enter in one of them. And in this case, we are inside one of the ideas. Okay, currently being managed by Austin Reynolds. Okay, so we are tracking things like the name, the description, okay, the context associated with the idea details in terms of portfolio association, business goal association, the different goals that we are trying to achieve. If we have high-level costs, okay, then we can have all the documentation related to the idea organized in different folders and so on. Or we can have the message center, which allows you to create discussions, and we are going to show all of those things as well on the project, where we have you can create different topics in order to discuss things, to create discussions around those topics within the idea and have that collaboration, okay, or then eventually just use notes, okay, or bringing up emails, okay, that people send to a certain email box, and incorporate them directly in the solution, or then send emails from here, okay, within this message center to a certain user, okay, or a certain contact, and write the email, which includes files and so on. But then the solution itself will send that email to that user or to that contact, but then it will keep already a copy here visible, so we can understand that we've sent this email with this content there, okay? So this message center itself and also the document management is really common to any process. So you have the same type of functionality in any process in the solution that is included in the solution. Okay. You also can create alerts, comments, and many other things in order to enhance this collaboration and these discussions that need to happen inside each of the processes. Okay, so you can basically track all the information and not just track that in a field in the form, okay, but track with all the information that you have and use mostly the form to consolidate that information in order to present later on the idea for approval. And talking about that idea for approval, it means that we have a flow, okay, to make sure that we track the different stages of the idea and responsibles for each of those decisions, okay. So we have processes for, so workflows for each of the processes that we include in the solution. So we will see workflows also for the initiative, workflows for the project. So for many different processes that we include in the solution, we have these workflows to make sure that we enforce that this has to pass first from on the BRM, Business Relationship Manager, and then an idea manager is named in order to manage that idea, the collaboration with the different units, the different stakeholders, users, and so on, until he sees that he has all the information in order to present this idea for approval, and eventually to start an initiative from this idea. So an initiative where we will detail this further, okay, in terms of building up a business case and so on from this idea. Okay, so in this case, if this goes into an approval stage, and if it gets approved, the initiative is automatically created with all the information that we have from the idea itself. Okay, so in this case, if you want to get more information on what you want to do in each of the steps, you can do by just highlighting, okay, each of the steps. And eventually, if you have actions that you can perform that we will show in other processes, then you have the actions, which allows you in this case from this step to complete the step. Okay, so to take an action of I have completed and it's ready to be approved and evaluated and so on. Okay, so like I said, if we approve the idea in order to become an initiative, we will then start, okay, an initiative. And an initiative has also a different flow, okay. So these are the initiatives, aggregating all the information on the initiatives. Let's see initiatives that are in a phase of portfolio analysis, for example. Okay, so let's, for example, focus on this one, improve data leakage. Okay, so in this case, when accessing the initiative, we have, similar to the idea, we have the message center, which allows us to have discussions, allows us to have messages, to exchange messages, to subscribe to each of the message types. So when anybody inserts a message inside this process on that type of message, on that type of, on that thread, let's say, then we will get a warning by email. And also, once we enter in the tool, we have highlighted here all the things that are pending written, that are pending to be read by our by us, let's say by our user. Okay, so also we have all the documents themselves, okay, to track all the documents. So like I said, these are two common parts, but then on this initiative we also have other features, other things that we want to track. Why? Because normally an initiative takes much more time, okay, to execute, to study the business case, to really elaborate that that information and present that then to the stakeholders to be evaluated, okay? And due to that, we want to make sure that we track all the team that is working on an initiative and eventually all the effort that they have dedicated to doing that initiative analysis. Eventually, if we want to track costs We can also track costs at the level of the initiative, but more importantly, we want also to define the business case. So define the financial costs of what does it mean if we execute this initiative. And if you see, this can be in multiple currencies. In this case, I'm seeing the information in euros, but this was defined in US dollars. I can just change, okay, to see it in another currency. Okay, this is the default currency associated with my profile. Okay, so in the end, I'm seeing always everything in euros. Okay, and if I want to change it and see it everything in other currency, I just change it in my profile and my preferences. Okay, but then in this case, I can also shift it and see it in other currencies as well. Okay, so in this case, we have planned a certain budget of a possible project, program, and so on that will be initiated from this initiative if it gets approved. Okay, in this case, we say that we are going to have software costs and trip costs, okay, around this this initiative, this execution, okay, and we are going to have this type of benefits, okay, on on the initiative, on the possible project that will be executed, okay, or then also define the team needs, the whole needs that we will have, okay, in order to execute this initiative further down the road. In this case, we will need two types, two roles, okay, with an estimated hours of 43 and 71. Okay, so in that case, we have all of this information, okay, and then we also have the details of the initiative itself, okay, so tracking all the information in terms of names, the region, the descriptions, the different contexts that are involved, the sponsors, responsible units, okay, the PMO, the portfolios, okay, goals, and also the scoring model. So remember that bubble chart that we were showing, okay, it comes from all the scoring model, which is basically a scoring mechanism for you to answer a certain set of questions, okay, and based on those answers, okay, we will have then a scoring, okay, that is calculated in terms of a strategic value score, a risk score, and a total score that we will be using in order to analyze all the initiatives against each other, understand the ones that provide more value, and also have in consideration, of course, the cost and benefits that we are providing. So in the end, if we go here to the business case dashboard, we will see a summary perspective in terms of costs and also the strategic value. So the categorization of the possible project will be cost reduction, okay, with a planned benefit of 270K, okay, with a total investment of 125, a certain ROI, an ROI in terms of percentage of 53, and with this type of risk score and strategic value score. This also in a graphical perspective, or then from a resource perspective, which kind of resources we will need and the amount of hours. So giving a summarized view, okay, in terms of the business case for this initiative. And like I said, we also have a process in order to manage that initiative. So starting from the business relationship manager, okay, that reviews the information, then associates an initiative manager that will then manage the whole initiative, build the business case, then it will submit it to being analyzed in the portfolio, okay, which can we then take a decision to say, okay, it is approved, so we want to create a project, we want to incorporate it in an existing project or program, we want to put it on hold, or we just leave it there. So here in this case, on this step, you'll have the ability, like I said, of having actions. So in this case, this user has actions that he can perform, okay? And the actions are the different outcomes. Either I close it, I create automatically a project from it, I put it on hold, I want the business case to be reviewed, so I want to basically send it back to the idea initiative manager, okay? So basically the several options in order to make sure that we take the right decision, that we understand who has done what and when. So we can track all decisions that have taken place, who has done them, okay, and the kind of outcome that came from each of them. And we also have then audit logs and so on, which audits everything in the process itself, all the changes that we have performed and so on, okay, across the board. So there are lots of functionality, of course, that we aren't highlighting in terms of the possibility to cancel a process anytime, to suspend it right now, or then to activate it, or if I have closed the process, I can also reopen that process if I have the privileges to it. Okay, so there are several other options. Okay, more top-level actions on the process itself that we can also take care. Okay, but going back again to our pages, so we were focusing on the portfolio demand. So let's look at the portfolio execution. So on the portfolio execution, we then have a list of all the assets that are contributing for all the projects with all the financial figures of those assets. We can go inside a certain asset, understand all the information, okay? We can also see all the programs that are included in the different portfolios, all the figures, all the information on those programs, all the projects that are included, okay, with all tracking all the information, and tracking all the indicators, and we can include, of course, indicators on schedule and so on. But most importantly, we also provide a picture, okay, of the real usage, planning and usage for each of the resources per month, which right now we have already the actual usage, okay, and also what we are really consuming or planning to consume, okay, from this execution, only focusing on projects, programs, and assets. So providing that segmented view, okay, on this information. So this from a portfolio perspective. And let's say that, no, but here I'm seeing all the information on all the portfolios, but I want to focus in one single portfolio. So you can have similar views like I've shown here at this level, and also the planning perspective of planning a certain budget for that portfolio and seeing how that execution is taking place. Okay, you can see that by entering in the portfolio itself. So if I go here to portfolios, focus in just one portfolio, let's say digital transformation. Okay, so in this case, we then have the information on the portfolio. Okay, some basic information. We can also have a definition in terms of what we have planned to invest for all the things that are included in this portfolio, because then we want to control if we are aligned with this investment or not, and how we are really executing, or also all the benefits that we want to take from this portfolio if we want to identify and plan those benefits as well. So then taking all of those things into play, we can go here to the portfolio overview and seeing based on the capacity, on the resource, on the budget that we have defined, seeing how the execution, how the planning is taking place. So all the initiatives, all the projects, programs, assets that are included, how they are consuming through different several months, okay, the budget that we have defined, okay, or on the benefit perspective as well, we haven't defined a planned benefit for the portfolio, but we can then see how we are delivering, okay. So this is a good picture focused only on the portfolio itself based on an entire capacity, okay, that we have defined in terms of investment, okay. Then providing a picture in terms of risk versus strategic value for everything, or also that part of resource capacity versus location for only this portfolio and the things that are included. And then the same segmentation. So focusing on demand, seeing all the demand, all the initiatives and so on that are inside this portfolio. So very similar views to the ones that I've shown before with the full information, or then focusing on everything that we are executing, okay, inside this portfolio. So everything that is included. So in this case, all the projects with already some more indicators in terms of schedule health, resource, and so on. Okay, strategic value, focusing on resources, focusing on plan versus actual cost, plan versus actual benefit that is being driven by each of the things that we have under execution inside this portfolio. So having a full understanding of everything that is included, how we are managing it, and so on. So from a portfolio perspective, that's what I wanted to show you. So let's right now focus very quickly on the project itself. Okay, so on the project itself, when we enter as a project manager, we want to focus in the projects that we are managing right now. Okay, so we are then presented with a full list of all the projects that we are managing, okay, with all important indicators, risk indicators, issue indicators, resource health, schedule health, okay, and also making sure that we keep track of costs and benefits, okay, on a high level picture, or then focusing on a certain month by drilling down and so on. So understanding all of that information. So if we are really complying to each of the planned costs and the actuals are really above the line, below the line. So what we are really consuming from our management, okay, in terms of all the projects that we have on our hand. But let's focus on one precise project. So let's enter here in this project, okay, and in this case, entering here in this project a new perspective with a digital pinhole, okay, so we can then see information on the different statuses and indicators on that project, so the schedule, cost, and so on, seeing the milestones, how we are completing the milestones, if they are late or not, so with the visual indicators, okay, on the milestones coming from the plan that we have established, okay, or the different status reports that have been submitted through time, okay, on this project. So in this case, we also have different other dashboards monitoring the information on the project itself. But what I want to do is show you a little bit the type of information that we are tracking and managing on the project. Okay, so for one side, we have the details, very similar forms and so on that we had on the initiative, on the ideas, tracking some different fields, okay, with the contacts, participant units, client units, okay, the start date, and the finish date for the project as it is established, okay, or then the scope, out of scope, the goals, financial information, the scoring model. So all the information that we can see in the project, okay. You have to realize that the project right now is under approval, okay. That's why we can't touch right now in any of the fields, despite that we are the project manager associated with the project. And why? Because right now we are in a phases of approval by the sponsors, okay, of the project. So we have here different stages, okay, that we have on this process: initiating the toll gate of approval, planning toll gate of approval, executing toll gate of approval before closing the project, okay. So understanding all of that and understanding who has done what, so the persons that took the different decisions, okay. So understanding all of that information, okay. But then let's go back to our details of the project. So having full view on the plan, the cost plan of the project, incorporating not only the estimated figures, but also the actual figures. So all the costs, okay, that we have planned and the cost that we have already recognized for the project, okay, or the benefits that we have planned, and if we already recognize some of those benefits, okay. Or then understanding the team that is working on the project, real resources, the estimated hours, the actual hours that they have dedicated from when to when. Okay, so seeing that consolidated view and eventually going into the dashboard and seeing more on the details. Seeing the work plan itself with all the activities that we have on the project. Okay, so all the different tasks that we have, okay, with the different plans, the different predecessors. So this plan can be fully managed here inside the solution, okay. So you don't need any type of extra tool to manage your activity plan. You can easily create your plan. You can easily also, if you want, you can export it to Microsoft Project, import it from Microsoft Project, and export it to Excel. You can basically enter in any of the tasks and see more details on the task itself, seeing all the information, basically all the resources that are involved in that task, the different estimated efforts for each of them. So seeing all the information, okay, and managing all that information in just one unique place and having a full understanding of the planning of your project and making sure that you take the right actions, okay. The other thing, like I said, the message center, which allows you to have all the discussions, for example, different discussions where we are basically having a discussion with different users on a certain topic, okay, between Roger Manning, Wendy Johnson, Kimberly Luna. So each of them are basically posting information that is useful inside this topic. So these topics, these discussion forums, can also, each of these topics can be private. So we can basically create a topic saying that the only persons that will be involved in seeing this information and interacting in this information are these users or these groups of users or these org units. Those are the ones that can interact and can basically do something inside this discussion. And this discussion is then not viewable for anybody else. So we can make sure that this is kept private and this discussion is still kept in the tool, okay, still kept here associated with the project, but then it's only seen by the persons that we want to see it, okay. Also the part of managing documents, like I've shown before, okay, or then different issues that we have attached to this project, okay, with a process to make sure that we manage those issues and we capture all the information on the issue itself, okay, and we have then a process to manage the resolution of that issue, tracking exactly where we are, okay, how things are going, and if it's already approved for resolution or not. So all the stages, okay, that we have in order to manage and solve that issue. Similar to that, we have that for the risks, the scope changes. So all the risks that are identified, okay, all the scope changes that are identified. In this case, for the scope change, okay, the process also incorporates the information on financials, so the impacts that are created by this change, the cost impact, the schedule impact, okay, understanding then all the information in terms of all the documents included and so on, and having a full, okay, process to understand if we are still analyzing the change, if we are analyzing its impact, if we are under approval, if it was approved, then need to incorporate that in the project and make sure that we also take a new baseline of the project and so on, okay, in all of that type of information, okay. So going back to our project, okay, we can also have the status reports in order to see all the status, okay, and the different reports that were put against this project in order to capture information on that precise point in time of the project. So entering in one of them, we will be able to see, okay, all the information, okay, on this status date on the project. So all the status of the project, okay, progress summary, goals, main achievements, accomplishments, okay, the financials themselves, okay, captured automatically from the project, or a scorecard on the different indicators with possibility of commenting, okay, of putting some comments in there. So in this case, we can then track also all the statuses that were submitted, okay, in order to report against them, okay. And then with all of this information, we provide reports in order for a stakeholder or even the project manager to understand the cost details of the project, okay, summarized in graphical views. So seeing all of that information, okay, open invoices or expenses if we have expense management across it or not, okay, or then the controls, so all the risks, issues, and so on that are affecting by type, by risks by status, and so on, okay, or then also the resources that are, okay, in this project, and also the costs, okay, associated with each of the resources that are calculated automatically, okay, based on the dedication of each of the resources. So basically, we can monitor all the information, everything related to every part of the project to make sure that we can report it on a stakeholder level, but also controlling it on a project manager level, okay? But then let's look also at two other things. For example, if I wanted from this user to understand everything that was in my hand, all the tasks that I have assigned to me, all the processes that I have assigned to me that I need to take decisions on, I can easily go to my workspace and access all of that information. So essentially access all the information on everything that is currently pending my action. So I see a lot of things, of course, because it's a demo environment. So all the expenses that are right now pending approval in my hand in order to do an action, I can easily just see the information on that expense, okay, and take an action on that, okay, or then open the expense itself, seeing all the information on the expense, okay, all the information in terms of the different expense lines and so on as it was created by the person. Also understanding the different stages of that expense management process. Okay, currently we are under approval, then it goes into finance. Finance needs to review all the information and possibly then has to pay to the person. Okay, and eventually, if this is going to be reimbursed to a customer, if we are doing this project and so on for a customer, then it's going to be pending reimbursement and included in an invoice later on. Okay, so we can have all of that management in place, or then all the tasks. So I want to understand everything that I need to do from a task perspective, everything that I'm involved in, all the projects, all the tasks that are assigned to me. We can then go into my tasks and understand all the tasks that I'm assigned to, the different dates, the priority of those tasks, okay, the task type, if there are extra resources included or not, okay, assigned to those tasks as well, and then start completing those tasks, entering new task, completing it, okay? But then, if we also want to see this, we can also see it from a calendar perspective, which will then show me all the tasks, okay, on a weekly basis, on a monthly basis. So of course, this is polluting a lot because it includes all the tasks in terms of project management, okay? So it's basically polluting all the information here. But then from a yearly format, okay, we see that we have tasks all over the year, okay, in the different months, okay, the different things that we are doing. So if we enter, of course, with a different profile, we see basically a calendar, a daily calendar of everything that we need to do and plan, okay, on that level, okay, or a weekly calendar, monthly calendar. So showing this in different views, okay. So there are several other functionalities that, of course, we aren't exploring and we aren't showing, okay, in these webinars, because we want to focus mostly on the processes that we have included, okay, and also keep them, let's say, under an hour to be able to explain, okay, in a high level everything that is included, and then basically you can also explore those processes, that functionality, okay. Read also the manual that we have, exploring and showing all the functionality and explaining all the functionality that we have on the solution, okay. And also, of course, the information on each of the processes that we have, okay, included in the solution. So all of that is described in the manual in order for you to explore, in order for you to understand everything that we are offering. Okay, so as of today, the webinar, what I wanted to show in terms of content, okay, was this type of content in this webinar, focusing mostly on the portfolio perspective, on ideas, initiatives, projects, okay. So showing all of that information, giving you also some guidelines in order for you to explore by yourself the information and the kind of things that we have available in the solution, okay. And essentially, as the last remark, I just want to thank you all for your presence here in the webinar. Hopefully, it's something that you see as a solution that can provide benefits for your organization. Hopefully, you'll go into our website and try it out and see what the different functionalities that we can offer to you and that can benefit your organization. So I just invite you to do all of that. And also remember, we have the last webinar tomorrow on service management. So I invite you all also to attend on that webinar. It will be the final webinar in terms of this series, okay? And as the last thing, just thank you very much for attending this webinar, okay? And I hope to see you tomorrow. Thank you.